Apple CarPlay is something that I use religiously every single time that I jump in a car, and I wanted to put this video together to highlight some hidden features and things that you might not know about Apple CarPlay today with iOS 26.4. And speaking of iOS 26.4, there's even a new ChatGPT App integration now with Apple CarPlay. So I'll be checking that out and a load of other things like hidden tips on navigation to messaging to music and even personalising your CarPlay experience as well. Let's jump into it. Right guys, well we've got about 4 or 5 on each section, so feel free to use the chapters down below, but we're going to start out on personalisation first. So first things first, did you know that you can actually reorder your icons on the screen? So a few people know this, but this is actually hidden on your settings on your phone. So go to Settings, then General, and then go down to CarPlay, choose your car in this list, so for this one it's MBUX, then go to Apps, and then here you can drag this menu here up and down to choose where you want the icons to be. So say I want music front and center, drag him up there, and it'll swap around just like that. From here you can actually also remove apps that you don't use on your phone. So say for example you don't use podcasts, you can actually physically remove that and it will remove it off the CarPlay screen just like this. If you've made a mess of it all, don't worry, there is a reset button, tap that and it will reset everything back to normal. Now, while I'm on the screen, there's also a section on here called Widgets. Now, Widgets was also something that was introduced in more modern iOS versions, and I know it's something that a lot of people don't really use. But if you swipe all the way across here, of course we have the split screen view just like this, but do one more swipe and this is the widget page. Now in here, it doesn't really allow you to do that much. You can cycle through a few, and you can see I'm filming this on April Fool's Day at the moment. You can view music on here and various other things. HomeKit's also available on here, so you can actually put your heating on or turn the TV on and off or lighting, which I think is quite cool. But if you go onto that same settings area in CarPlay, you can go onto widgets here and actually adjust the stacks. Now the number of stacks does vary depending on how big your multimedia screen is. So for example, in my actual car, I've only got 1 stack, but I have seen clips online of people with 3 or 4 stacks. We all know how big car multimedia screens are in cars. So yeah, you can go in here and add a variety of different widgets in here, but we have more tips and tricks to look at. Wallpapers are a popular thing to customize on Apple CarPlay. Sadly, there are no custom wallpapers. I actually got really excited when I updated my phone to iOS 26.4 because it said you can change your custom wallpaper, but Apple were just referring to the ones that are built into CarPlay. Come on Apple, give us custom wallpapers. But to choose the ones which are on CarPlay, just go Settings and then go to Wallpaper, and then you can choose from a varied preset selection just here. Again, we want custom wallpapers. You can also adjust a light mode or dark mode on CarPlay as well. So if we go into Settings and then go to Appearance, you can choose the appearance, either automatic or always dark. This will change the appearance of Apple Maps just to make it a little bit brighter, or if it is too bright, you can choose always dark. I actually prefer, personally, always dark. But yes, Apple Maps in dark there, or the daytime just like that. So again, your personal preference. Finally, you can also customize your icons as well. So if you go into Settings and go to Customize Icons, you can choose either default, dark or clear, following the iOS 26 kind of liquid glass that they introduced, which I know some people love, but then also some people don't love. You have to let me know your preference down below. But yes, dark mode, clear, and you can also have it do light, dark and auto as well, depending on usually the headlights of the car. When they automatically come on, it'll also change it for the CarPlay interface as well. And then on to music, and more specifically, Apple Music. So if we go in this, recently introduced was the ability to pin your music, your preferred artist or albums or playlists or anything you listen to at the very, very top. This is of course all done on your phone, so all you do is just find an album or something that you want to pin to the top of the list there, long press, and then go to Pin Album, and it will appear just on the top up there like that. SharePlay is also an underrated feature in my opinion, because I do remember a time years ago when you had to share the aux cable in the car. So that's like the headphone jack, and you used to give it round to all your passengers and then they play their music or something from their own iPods and phones. Maybe I'm showing my age slightly. But SharePlay is the digital version of that, and it's up there on the top right hand corner. Tap in here and then anyone in the car who uses Apple Music can play their music, of course, shared to your phone. So it's basically just like sharing the aux cable digitally. It's brilliant. I am blurring my QR code on there because I don't want you guys just randomly sending me music when I'm driving around in my car. AutoMix was also something that was introduced recently, which is almost like sort of like an Apple Music DJ. It sort of blends tracks together. Now, obviously, if you're going to listen to an album, you probably don't want it to do that. I think it's more geared up for playlists and things, but it does produce some pretty cool crossfades and transitions in between the songs, almost like a real DJ would. It can slow it down, it can adjust filters and things like that to blend tracks together, and even the tempo as well. And then we're in the next track. Pretty cool. If you don't like this, you can turn this off. And as I said, I do recommend it to turn it off for albums, but for playlists, I completely get it. It's actually found on the top right-hand corner up here. Just go in here, and then you can turn off AutoMix, just like that. While I'm here as well, AutoPlay used to be called, I'm sure it was called Endless Playback or something like that, but I think Apple have changed the name. AutoPlay basically means it will play similar music at the end of the album. So if you put your favourite album on, and then at the end of the album, so track 10 or track 12, it will then just randomly play other artists and albums that are similar to the genre you're listening to. Or things you might like, who knows? Now, one of the reasons why I use Apple Music over other third-party providers is, well, the fact I can download every single song, every album, every artist offline, stored locally on my phone, which means when I'm on a plane, I don't need to worry about downloading anything. My entire library is offline. This also means that when I'm driving around in, for example, a no signal area, or our mobile phone network's not giving out really good signal, which happens a lot more than you might think, I can have all of my entire music library available in the car without needing internet access. Now, I appreciate that does take up a lot of storage, but you can, of course, download your favourite artists and albums, maybe even your pinned ones as well, so you don't need to rely on that internet connection. Now, I have everything downloaded anyway, but if you want to download individual albums, just go to the top right-hand corner of the ellipsis menu and then go to download track or download album just in here. This is also how you remove downloads and also delete it from your library as well. Now, I'm not one for listening to the radio, to be honest. That's just me personally. I either listen to Apple Music or I listen to podcasts. Those are my two apps there. However, I know a lot of you do listen to the radio in your car, and I know for a fact that quite a few of you will probably be swapping between CarPlay and the car's multimedia system. So you'll be using CarPlay like this, then you'll be coming out of that, and then going in here, and then going to radio, finding your radio, then going back to CarPlay, and then adjusting sat-nav and seeing where you're going in there, kind of a bit like that. The way around this is to actually use a radio app in CarPlay. Now, this does come with the caveat that you're going to use your data up, but it's not going to use as much as you might think. Of course, if you have unlimited data, then it doesn't really matter. But I'd recommend an app called Global Player. If you go in here, this will keep you in the CarPlay interface, but you can still play your favourite radio stations. As I said, this will require an active live internet connection, so may not work everywhere, but it saves you having to come out, go in here, go to radio, find your radio, then go back to CarPlay. So if there's less taps to press, I'm all for that. So yeah, check out Global Player because that has all your favourite radio stations on there, and you can even add stuff to your favourites as well. Next up is messaging. So if we go on to messages or text messages or iMessage, you can pin your favourites to the top up here as well. Again, this was introduced over the past couple of iOS versions, which I think is quite neat. To change these, go onto the Messages app on your phone and then find the contact you want to add to the top, for example, long press here, and then you can pin to the very top, and then you'll get another one appear on the top up there, just like that. Same thing if you want to unpin it, long press and then unpin, and it will take it off the top there. Tapbacks are also something which is quite cool on messages. Obviously makes a whole lot of sense when you're driving because, you know, not everyone wants to respond to a text message, but just a simple thumbs up or heart can suffice. So once you've received a message,
eBay sent an authorization code. Would you like to reply?
When you're replying, all you do is just tap back and then heart or something similar. Now I'm hoping that Siri is going to get a few updates this year on Apple. Certainly in the next couple of months or so when Apple do their Worldwide Developers Conference, I'll be sure to do a video on anything I hear about Apple CarPlay in the way of changes, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now, did you know you can also send text messages via Siri as well, but you don't just have to use messages, you can also use WhatsApp. Now, I'm not going to say the "hey s" word right now, you know what it is. I'll put it on screen here because otherwise I'll trigger everyone's phone. A load of you told me off last time, so I don't want to annoy you all, but I'm going to hold the button on the steering wheel just to do this bit. Send a message to Erin.
What do you want to say to Erin?
And then you can recite your message just like that. I'm going to press cancel just for now. But you can also send via WhatsApp as well. All you need to add is just "on WhatsApp" at the end of your command. Send a message to Erin on WhatsApp.
What do you want to say to Erin O'Leary?
And now we're doing it on WhatsApp instead. So I know for a fact that not everyone uses iMessage or text messages, but the fact you can give a command on WhatsApp, I think is quite good. Now next up are voice assistants. Now I say assistants because there are multiple ones now, so I wanted to highlight some of the ones which you do have access to with CarPlay and, for example, like a modern car. So you can say the "hey s" word or just the S word. I'll put it on screen for you to see. Or you can activate it by holding the menu button on CarPlay on the bottom, just like this. But you can also do it with the voice button on the steering wheel. Now, most modern cars that have another voice assistant of their own, I know, voice assistants are everywhere these days. If you press the button in the car, it will do the inbuilt multimedia system voice assistant. So in this car, this being a Mercedes-Benz, it will do the "Hey Mercedes" voice assistant. There it is at the top up there. But if you hold it, this will actually activate the car's one, which will be Siri in this case. There we go, just like that. Now it is quite limited with what it can do, but if you know some particular commands, it can actually be quite powerful. So for example, ones I do use it for quite often when driving in CarPlay are asking it the weather. It can give you a weather report for the day, particularly if you're driving somewhere further afield. What's the weather?
It's currently cloudy and 11 degrees. Today's high will be 13 and the low is 6.
You can ask it to read the news. Read me the latest news.
Here's the latest top news.
And for us, it will read the latest BBC News in the UK. Now, because your phone is with you in your pocket all the time, you can actually get it to remind you about things when you get home using geofencing. Remind me to hang the washing out when I get home.
Okay, I added "hang the washing out" for when you arrive at Nick O'Leary's home.
So as soon as I get home, it will pop up on my phone to remind me. Another one with using Apple's voice assistant is to navigate somewhere. And this isn't just Apple Maps. You can use other third-party ones via voice as well. So, navigate to Bournemouth.
Getting directions to Bournemouth Station.
Now that's basically in the middle of Bournemouth anyway, but that's going to use Apple Maps by default. But what about if you use Google Maps? Just say that at the end. Navigate to Bournemouth on Google Maps.
Getting directions to Bournemouth Station using Google Maps.
And now we'll be using Google instead. And I hear you, your Waze is in the comments before you start typing on the keyboard. You can do it on Waze as well. Navigate to Bournemouth on Waze.
Getting directions to Bournemouth Station using Waze.
Now, if you guys are into home automation, I have a few home automation things such as a home bridge and home assistant at home, which means I can give a command while I'm driving around or driving back home and put the heating on. Set the thermostat to 22 degrees. Now that sound means the command has been sent, and the dog at home is probably wondering why he's getting all toasty without anyone being home. Now, if you use Apple Reminders for a shopping list, which we do at home because it syncs between the Apple family account, well, just ask it to add things to a shopping list. Add milk to the shopping list.
Okay, I added milk to the shopping list.
So now that's on both our phones when whoever goes shopping next. And then finally, we get on to the newest edition with iOS 26.4, and that is ChatGPT. I know it's been sitting there for a little while for us to have a look at. But yes, we now have ChatGPT in the car. Now, I will have to add, this is a very scaled back version and it's voice only for obvious reasons. When third-party apps are made for CarPlay, Apple have very, very strict criteria about how an app is made. Obviously, to stop people being distracted while driving, because obviously driving is the most important part when in the car. But you can choose between chats or projects. Now, I don't use projects personally, but you can see there's actually a few chats there, and this will show all of your recent ones as you go down the list. I've just numbered them just to make a reference. But you can start a voice chat anywhere by opening up ChatGPT and then going on to New Voice Chat. Hey, so I heard that there's a new update with ChatGPT integration with Apple CarPlay now.
Yeah, that's right. The latest iOS update introduced a ChatGPT integration with Apple CarPlay, so you can now interact with it through your car's display. It's still early days, but it sounds like a pretty smooth experience. Are you thinking about using it in one of your videos?
It's like she knew. So yeah, this could be good, and I appreciate that some cars like this brand, Mercedes-Benz, do have ChatGPT integration with their voice assistant, but I think I might prefer this because this will actually link with your laptop at home, for example, or your phone, and you can see all the conversations with the transcript at home as well. So yeah, you have to let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Will you be using this, and will you be having any conversations with your AI chatbot in the car? Now, next up is navigation. Now, this does depend on which app you prefer to use, Apple Maps, Google Maps, or Waze. You have to let me know your preferred in the comment section down below. But regardless of which one you use, you might want to adjust how loud the sat-nav volume is. And in most modern cars, it's pretty easy to adjust. All you do is start a route, and the second you hear the voice, adjust the volume in the car. Basically, all you do is just adjust the volume of the sat-nav voice when it's talking to you. Because if you do it when it's not talking, it will do it for the music or the podcast or the radio. But the second it talks, when you adjust the volume, it will adjust it for the voice that's talking only. So here, for example, as I move the volume up and down, it's doing the entertainment volume for the radio, but then
Starting route to Janesmore Plain Road.
See there it said driving recommendation volume? That's adjusting the volume for the sat-nav only and not the radio or the media that might be playing. Now personally, I haven't muted the entire time. That's actually on the top left-hand corner up here and then muted. But you can also, if you see there, you can also do alerts only. So it might be useful if you want to know about anything that's going on, but I personally haven't muted. Now, for those of you that have, for example, an Apple Watch, a few of you do use Apple Maps and you do love, apparently, the turn-by-turn directions you get from Apple Maps when driving. And what this does is basically just give your watch a little tap on the wrist when a turn is coming up. So it's quite a discreet way of having the sat-nav, prompt you when a turn's coming up on like a motorway or something. If you want to turn this on, go onto your Apple Watch settings and then go down to Maps, which will be right the way down this list. And then in here, you can turn on the alerts with driving or driving with CarPlay. And this will just give you a little tap on your wrist when a turn is coming up. Now, still sadly, Apple Maps does not have a satellite view on the CarPlay experience, but you can do this on Google Maps. And I've mentioned this before. I just know that a lot of people do like their satellite view. Quite simply, load up Google Maps, then go into settings on the top right, and then just toggle on satellite map, and then you'll get a satellite view. New to Google Maps as well, you can also change the car icon to match your car. So if we go, again, settings up here, driving avatar, and then you can choose one from here. So sedans or SUV, sports coupe, city car, and yeah, there's a few more down there as well. Again, I know you can do similar things like this on Waze, but you can kind of see some of these Waze features coming across to Google Maps now, which is interesting. A very useful thing again with Apple Maps and Google Maps is having the ability to have your maps downloaded offline because, again, network infrastructure isn't always the best. You don't always get the best mobile phone signal, and quite often it's when you need it the most. Could be a car park underground or it could be in the middle of nowhere. That's usually when you need the sat-nav. So on Apple Maps, for example, I do actually keep offline maps downloaded for local and then also like the New Forest where I know that there's barely any signal. For those who live near where I live, you'll know my pain. But I also have it downloaded for Google Maps as well, just in case I want to swap between those two. But it's good you can download offline maps for both apps, which do actually impact the CarPlay experience as well. So I recommend download the maps because it will make your life a little bit easier right when there's no signal. But speaking of Apple Maps, Google Maps and Waze, I've actually done a comparison of all three. So if you guys want to watch that one, have a look on this video right here. But thank you so much for watching this one. Until next time, see you then.